Fall of the Night Watchman. The old mill stood as a testament to a forgotten era, a relic of industry shrouded in darkness. The old steel mill had operated from the early 1880s to the mid-1970s. The old mill had produced steel all the way from the steel beams in New York's glimmering skyscrapers, to the automobile frames of the cars that rolled out of Detroit. I had taken on the role of a night shift security guard, tasked with protecting its silent halls from unseen threats. Mostly teenagers looking for cheap thrills from all of the town's gossip of this old historic mill being haunted. Of course, along with teenagers looking for a quick fright, also comes vandals, graffiti artists, gang activities, and horny teenagers out looking for a dark, secluded place to get laid. Little did I know that this desolate place would become my own personal purgatory, haunted by the ghosts of its tormented past. From the moment I first stepped foot inside, an eerie atmosphere enveloped me. The air was thick with the scent of rust and decay, and a chilling breeze whispered through the broken windows. The machinery, long abandoned, seemed to groan in agony, as if bearing the weight of lost souls. But it was the disembodied cries and whispers that plagued me every night, echoing through the darkened corridors, that truly filled me with dread. As the sun sank below the horizon, I ventured deeper into the mill's labyrinthine passages. Strange apparitions flickered at the corner of my vision, vanishing as soon as I turned to face them. Whispers slithered through the air, indistinct yet suffused with malevolence. The spirits of those who had toiled and perished here seemed to relish tormenting me, their eternal game of cat and mouse. Each night brought new terrors. The grinding of gears echoed through the stillness, accompanied by a chorus of anguished moans. Tools clattered on their own, mimicking the ghostly presence that lurked unseen. Metal scrapes reverberated from the depths, as if tortured souls were clawing at the walls, seeking release from their eternal torment. This was the first night shift job that I had ever taken on, and when I first started, my biggest concern was that after making my rounds while sitting in the guard room, I might get caught napping on the job. But whenever I dared to close my eyes, nightmares gripped my mind, merging with the waking terrors. I saw the faces of mill workers, twisted in agony, their bodies mangled in unforgiving machinery. Their eyes held accusation, blaming me for their gruesome fate. I was condemned to witness their suffering, forever trapped in this unholy cycle of fear and despair. But even if that wasn't enough, it never failed. Once the eyelids got heavy and would start to close, a door would slam out of nowhere or a scream would be heard from around the corner. Alas, every time I went to investigate, the old mill was empty, not a person in sight. There came a night when the mill's ghostly inhabitants grew bolder, their presence palpable, their anger tangible. I ventured into the heart of the mill, where the machinery's ghostly forms loomed like monolithic specters. The air crackled with malevolence as their ethereal forms materialized, their eyes ablaze with hatred. They whispered curses and taunts, their voices merging into a cacophony of torment. The most chilling occurrence was when I heard my name being called. I searched all the corridors with only my flashlight to light the way. However, just like every other search I had ever performed, nothing turned up, no one was there except for me. The spirits would oftentimes play other pranks on me by playing hide and seek with everyday items. One night I laid my keys down on my desk and turned around to do something else. When I turned back around, they were gone, like they had just vanished into thin air. I spent hours searching for those keys only to find them later on sitting atop one of the old lathes down on the floor. I soon learned that if I didn't want anything disappearing on me, the best thing for me to do was to keep it on my person at all times. The other night, while making my rounds, I stumbled upon a long-forgotten ledger, its pages yellowed with age. It chronicled the countless accidents and deaths that had occurred within these walls. Each name was a reminder of a life cut short, a tragedy buried beneath layers of dust. The most disturbing log had been that of one of the mill's first foremen. In the early 1900s, Jeremy Dregg Simmons was foreman of the graveyard shift, the period between sunset and sunrise, where a skeleton crew of workers toiled to keep the furnace fed. During the stifling summer months, temperatures throughout the plant would reach more than 120 degrees. Lack of sleep, the heat, and low visibility made working the furnace literally a living hell, and only the poorest of workers, desperate for employment, would work it. To impress his supervisors, Simmons would make his workers take dangerous risks, forcing them to speed up production. During his reign, 52 workers lost their lives, 10 times more than any other shift in the history of the mill. There were no breaks, there were no holidays, there was only the mill. In September of 1903, Jeremy Dregg Simmons lost his footing at the top of the highest blast furnace, known as Big Joe, and plummeted into a pool of melted iron ore. The report stated that his body melted instantly. It was also noted that Dreggs must have become dizzy from the methane gas created by the furnace and lost his balance, but Dreggs had never set foot on top of the furnace during his years of employment. Legend has it that the workers had finally had enough of Simmons's slave driving, and fed him into the furnace, but no workers were ever brought to trial. I continued to flip through the ledger's pages, each page filled with similar terrifying accounts, and then I saw it, the last entry, a name that sent a chill down my spine. My own. Grabbing a pen out of my shirt, I tried to scribble my name out, but the scribbles would just vanish, my name reappearing every time. In that moment, I realized that I had become part of this forsaken place, forever tethered to its haunting legacy. The mill had claimed me, body and soul. The spirits, bound by their anguish and rage, sought to claim me as their own, an eternal resident of this spectral realm. What had started out as faint whispers calling out my name was now shrill screams. As I looked around, the mill was no longer a dark, dingy, forgotten place. It was as if I had slipped back in time and the mill was up in full production. As I stumbled through the corridors of the mill, every hot, sweaty person I bumped into acted as if they not only knew me on a first-name basis but also as if I was supposed to have known them. Defeated and consumed by darkness, I knew there was only one way to end this torment. I climbed to the highest catwalk, the wind howling in my ears. With the weight of despair upon my shoulders, I let myself fall into the abyss below. As I plummeted, the mill's wailing cries followed me, melding with my final screams. Now, my spirit wanders the mill's desolate halls, forever trapped in its clutches. The ghosts of the mill workers continue their cruel routine, their laughter a haunting melody. I am but a ghost, a lost soul condemned to bear witness to the horrors that befall those who cross the mill's threshold. Darkness reigns, and the old steel mill stands as a mausoleum of lost souls. Its legacy of pain and despair lives on, and its final victim remains forever entwined within its eternal embrace.
Tonight's story was inspired from legends of the historic Sloss Furnace in Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you for viewing.